It's taking me a second to load on Underdog right now, but we'll get the drafts going as soon as people roll in. Maybe some heads will want to join. That'll be fun. Let me see if I could get in. If not, I could do it from my phone, and you could probably screen share if anything. So that works too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as long as we get one of these up. Yeah, it's spinning too long. Yeah, we'll be good. Yeah, got some people in here. 16. Let them roll in. I was thinking about doing something on like Microsoft Paint and drawing up the build, just putting the number 767, but it's just like I could just show the teams better.
Too
Well,
fancy.
yeah, I actually don't know how to use Microsoft. I don't know how to do anything on
Yeah.
like I
Not
can do
artistic.
Excel. Yeah, I'm not artistic at all.
Neither am I, so.
That's why we had to pay someone to put up these graphics for us. These were not self-made. Shout out to Brandon Anderson. Yeah, no, this is we got the content-ish part down. Like we can yap, we can draft. That's important.
Yep.
You have some cred, street cred, as they say.
Ah,
Going to the dog bowl.
I
So
don't know
you're
about
not
all that.
you're not smart. I don't know if you tell
Hey,
yourself you're not smart, but you should be.
I got lucky to be there, man.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We got Mike Virginia up in here, and then we got a WTF from Nick Baklava. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but
yeah, Nick Bach. Yeah, he's a Badge Bros Discord guy.
Oh hell yeah, get them all. Hopefully we're not overlapping with them. Shout out to the Badge Bros. Great content. But yeah, no, we'll just do a regular Dinger draft. I want to do some big boards as these weeks go on because I mean that's going to fill up too sooner than later. I think it's almost halfway. Yeah, I've done about 50-ish big boards, and that's basically preseason Dinger level, like $10 buy-in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't gotten into the big board yet. I've done 0, but at some point I think I will.
We're gonna be drafting them on here. The people want to know, when is Dan going to get into the big board? Already, I mean, there's been so much ADP fluctuation. Like Tyreek Hill was a fifth rounder. Now he's a 2-3 turn pick, which I'm taking him still. Rookie running backs like Janty has been pretty steady, but it's like CMC, Janty, Derrick Henry next to each other. So it's just like there's a glut of running backs. There's been a lot of moves. Travis Etienne was in like the 160, 170 range. He's moved up to 100.
Which is crazy that he was even there to begin with. And I don't love Etienne, but
I mean, at pick 100, it's him or like Brian Robinson and like DeAndre Swift. I mean, like even if you don't love Etienne, it's like
there's value to be had right there for sure.
Yeah, I think they might add in the running back room like Liam Cohen. I think they'll be versatile with the backfield, but at the same time, if you can maximize Etienne, he's a home run hitter. So we'll see. I'm excited for that. Yeah, I think he's great for best ball, especially. I probably won't draft him in managed leagues unless he falls.
He's a tough guy to own. I learned the hard way this past year.
Yeah, it's a rough one. Also, I cannot log into Underdog for some reason, but I will get there soon enough. Worst comes first, I could probably do like an incognito tab. Let's see if that works better. Come on. Allow while visiting the site. Let's see if it works. It'll be very funny if the incognito works and not. Oh yeah, I am in on what, that makes no sense, but whatever. It's my same login, same location. Never thought I'd be a Najee bull. Najee's actually fine. Pick 110 to 115 range. 1,000 yards every year. He's not Mike Evans, but would you draft Najee like he's going right before? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. It's like Cam Scatterbo, Najee, but like the wide receivers are gross. Like it's after Bateman and Keon, and I like those guys, but
yeah, I mean it sounds like value if he's going around that range. Like I like Cam Scatterbo. I mean he was obviously a college stud, but we're talking about Najee Harris as a pretty certified solid running back. He's not going to be a world beater of any kind, but if he's going in that range, because once again, I have not looked at the ADPs for the big board or early
Yeah, you
contests, and I
should.
probably won't unless we do some drafts in the future.
It's a gross range. What if Najee replaces Kareem Hunt? That's the thing. It's like he's kind of been in a bad situation. Like even when Pittsburgh was good a couple years ago when they drafted it, like he had a great rookie year fantasy wise, but then he fell off. He had like a weird injury, but he's been mostly healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Stevenson, Travis, Harris, Swift, Scatterboo. I'd take him over Swift. I'd take him over Scatterboo. Um, I'd take him over Stevenson. Stevenson stuck in New England. I don't think they're going to become a great offense. I think they could become
Nah.
solid. Give me
Yeah,
Najee over
they still need
Ramondre.
help.
And he fumbles a shit ton. So it's like McDaniels is going to hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like an interesting range. So I'm assuming those 5 names are within the same
Somewhere
range
like
of ADP.
within 15 picks overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, no, I've been taking Travis mostly, but if I don't get Travis, I'll take Najee. I usually only
Mm-hmm.
want one of those kind of flame out first round former top 40 pick types aside from Scatterbo, obviously. Yeah, Swift,
Yeah.
I'm out. I think Swift's done. I don't see it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
sadly. Yeah, interesting thing for Swift is Ben Johnson is the one who traded him to the Eagles for a bag of chips. I mean,
That's a good
the
point.
GM kind of does that. I mean, Ben Johnson was an OC, so we don't really know how Ben Johnson himself felt, but yeah, even if Swift gets cut, I don't really love the concept of Swift moving forward because he's not a touchdown guy. You're relying on efficiency. He gets hurt pretty often. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
not
guy
into
I
it
probably will not be drafting. I mean,
because he's
I'll
been on
probably
good
get in.
teams.
Yeah, I'd probably get into football as we get closer to PBM, but like this early stuff, it's just with
It's
baseball
too
going
much.
on, it's just
Yeah.
too much.
Okay. Well, we got some heads in here, and I figure they came for baseball, so we should give them some baseball. We're gonna hop into a dinger, and we're gonna talk strategies because I feel like the biggest thing with draft strategy is builds and how
Yes.
many pitchers, how many infielders, how many outfielders. Luckily, there's only 3 positions. Way easier than typical fantasy baseball for the most part. 20 rounds. It's not too much on your plate. It takes about an hour if you do the slow drafts, but talk to me about your go-to build at least, because there's variations of them all.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about it the last stream we did. Like, I don't really have like a go to necessarily. I feel like I routinely kind of fall into the 7-7-6 structure, but the way I view it is like there's no reason to go into a draft and say, okay, I'm gonna try to like get this build. It's just like whatever falls to you. And I
Mm-hmm.
told you like draft capital doesn't mean as much to me as it does to you. Draft capital you spend at a position because man, like sometimes I end up with 6 outfielders and or like 7 outfielders, and I'm like, shit, like I do not feel comfortable with this outfield group. Like I wish I could tack on an eighth or whatever. So I
Oh
don't
yeah.
really care. I know what's optimal and what's not, but yeah, I it's just take the draft as it comes, I guess.
No, absolutely. I've seemingly fallen into the 7-6-7, not because I have to do it or I want to do it badly, but I find having the extra pitcher and extra outfielder is more valuable than the extra infielder because, like we discussed on the last stream, infielders just don't get hurt as much, especially like first baseman, which I'm mostly drafting. They're pretty
Mhm.
sedentary. They're basically glorified DHs at first base. So I'm pretty comfortable. Even if I wait on infield, I can take like I've been taking a lot of like Nathaniel Lowe, excuse me, Yandy Diaz. These guys play 140 to 150 games at least per year,
Mhm.
unless there's like some weird hand issue or whatever. Lowe had, I believe, shoulder surgery, but that was in the off season. Like you're getting, for the most part, workhorse players at infield and outfield. Guys are running into the wall. Pitchers, their arms are blowing up. So I always feel more comfortable naturally having the extra, at least one extra outfielder or pitcher. And if I was gonna go with 8 in any group, I'd probably go 8 outfield, given the way the boards are flying right now.
The Yeah, I mean, I've definitely done 8 in all three positions. I've done 8-6-6 builds. I've done 6-8-6, and I've definitely done 6-6-8. It
Yeah.
kind of just depends. But I get what you're saying. Like we, I think that's more like what you said about pitchers blowing up constantly. I think that's more reason to draft 8 pitchers, at least at this point in time. Like as the season gets closer and we know who's healthy or who's like teeter tottering, then maybe we can go into the season with a late draft with 6 pitchers and feel more comfortable with it. But at this point, I don't think that's like a super viable strategy.
Yeah, I've done 6 pitcher if I go with like 3 or 4 early pitchers, like top 100, top 120. Shout out to Nez for finally getting the double entendre in our name. Neither of us ever enlisted, or not enlisted. Neither of us were actually drafted, so we're not actually draft dodgers, luckily. So there's no legal implications here. We are just doing actual fantasy drafts. Nick, I've been trying some 8-6-6 and attack hitters early. Sometimes feel great, sometimes feel gross, and that you're almost always gonna feel sometimes great, sometimes gross with these drafts because
Yeah.
you'll take 2 prospects in your outfield and you're like, shit, what am I going to do for April? I need guys who could fill my lineup, and XYZ player gets hurt. Like Langford's already hurt. Helio Ramos is hurt. Whomever else. There's like injuries already happening. So we kind of balance it. The thing I don't like about 8-6-6 or just getting 8 pitchers in general, you only have 3 lineup spots to fill. So you have 8 studs and you could have 4 monsters in a week. Your 4th monster isn't getting in that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So you're losing out on a potential spot where that flex for the infield and outfield is extremely valuable to, again, maximize potential points per week. I mean, and then in the playoff weeks, especially because you're not going to have all of the players you drafted in week 1 or before week 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think the only reason why you would go, so it does become more of like a draft capital thing if you were to draft 8 pitchers. You just wait. Like I've done it before where I take my 6 infielders and 6 outfielders and I have 0 pitchers. So I just draft 8 pitchers to close it out. In a way, having 8 pitchers, it maximizes your or 2-start potential in each week, right? Because that's what's going to score you the most points is guys who make 2 starts. So that's what we're looking for. But at the same time, you do have to balance it out because you need the weekly upside from your bats.
Yeah, definitely. It's very weird. It's a tricky game to try and manage. I've had success with 8-6-6. I've advanced a few. I've never won the Dinger or any of these baseball contests. So like, if you're looking for that, that's not over here. But we're looking to do it this year, and we're gonna hop in. I think it's about time, Dan. If anybody in the chat or anybody watching wants to hop in a Dinger, we're gonna get into a fast draft right about now. Dan, let me know when you're ready, and I'll hop in.
I'm in.
You're in? Okay.
I might have the location issue.
We'll see. No, I'm in.
Oh no, I'm
waiting
in.
for
I'm
6
in.
people.
Yeah,
You're in?
5 more.
Are you waiting for 5 people?
I am.
Sweet.
And
we're
now
in the
it's
same
4.
one.
Yep.
Okay, let me get this up. Yeah, fun stuff. I finally figured out how to show my board. That was important. I did not know how to do that. We actually, I think we were 2 hours delayed last time.
Yeah, that was fun because of technical difficulties, man.
Like, a lot of technical. Yeah,
that was rough
on my end. Yeah. But we're here.
We're here. That's all that matters.
Yeah, to a degree. Okay, let's get this up. I'm gonna share screen for 2 people.
Yeah, wait on a couple people.
There we go.
But just to, I guess, continue the conversation, like when you talk about, what's up?
No, go on.
Oh no, just when you talk about draft capital and caring about it, what do you mean?
Caring about draft capital. So if I invest in pitchers early, I want to draft fewer pitchers because I'm banking on them to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
If I draft Paul Skeens, if I draft Zach Wheeler, if I draft Tariq Skubal, which I'm not doing often in general, but if I do, my bet is I'm betting on those guys to be there for me in the playoff weeks. Just like if you draft 2 RBs, you shouldn't be drafting 6, 7 RBs in BBM. I mean, you could if you want, but at the same time, why did you draft those 2 stud RBs or 2 stud pitchers? Because you're banking on those 2 specifically to be the guys who are there for you in those playoff weeks and throughout the season. Or else, what is the point of drafting those players? They're not bench fodder.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm kind of just asking to get your take on it because the way I view it is I don't care about ADP even a little bit. So at the same time, it's like, do I really care about the draft capital I allocate, at least in the first half of the draft? Like the first couple picks, I get it. If you start with 2 infielders, like, yeah, you're gonna need a hammer outfield. It's just it's kind of logical, but at the same time, I think it's like a comfort thing.
So it's possible that Merrill Kelly can outscore second round Paul Skeens if Kelly gets 2 starts compared to his one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't draft Merrill Kelly, but that's just me. I think he's bordering on washed. I hate shoulder injuries, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, Kelly gets a 2-start week in week whatever, a playoff week. And Skeens only has a great day instead of an elite day. And Kelly has 2 good starts. Those 2 good starts outweigh the 1 great start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is why typically I would like to wait on pitchers, or at least I'll draft 1 or 2, if anything, in the top 100. There you go.
Well, we've got a packed house with names I definitely recognize.
We got Nez.
Both of the Badge Bros in here, Roto Run and Nez.
Dark Sheep, shout out Dark Sheep, Roto Run. Dan J. Preciado. We got Dan J. Preciado in the building?
Oh, yeah. I'm on the clock, aren't I?
I'm kidding. Obviously, you're on the clock.
I was just looking at who was in here.
Yeah, we got some. Here, share this tab.
Let me see. Who else is in here?
Okay, we got the big board up.
I've seen the FK Coolers name around. Round Square 97 is Matt, who's been in the chat quite a bit. And then Nick Bach, too, was also.
Now, Kev is up. Kev will be taking his usual Kyle Tucker. It's pretty commonplace for me to take Kyle Tucker at this point. The Wrigley thing and the Cubs offense as a downgrade is real, but at the same time, he's Kyle Tucker. So I'm just trusting the fringe elite talent.
Yeah.
Easy lobby, thankfully. Hey, Turbotron, please. If somebody
Turbotron too is in here. I just noticed that.
If somebody from these streams wins it all, more power to you. I'll put up Dan's in my Venmo for a little tip after, but that's neither here nor there. We would like a trip to Mexico in the fall. I hear what Cancun's great in November. I don't know. Dan, you're the Mexican.
I'm Puerto Rican, man. I'm not Mexican.
Oh, excuse me.
That's good. That's good.
Do you speak Spanish?
I do, not as much as I used to, but I definitely do to some degree. Yeah, for being.
I like to put on my resumes that I speak Spanish, which I'll put conversational, and that's a lie too. Because on some of my resumes, it's like there's 3 levels. It's like 1 is like baseline, 2 is conversational, 3 is fluent, and I'm not gonna full on lie, but I'll do like a half lie.
Yeah.
Like
I can read more Spanish. I used to speak more Spanish around the house and with family and whatnot. But when I moved to New York for college, not a lot of Spanish speakers in the region, so
a lot of Puerto Ricans
kind of lost it.
So your people are there.
Not in upstate New York. Not in upstate New York. It's
excuse me. Yeah, Syracuse. I forgot you went to college.
Yeah, New York City is definitely. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot of Dominicans. Good amount.
Did you ever go to the parades?
I did not, because I was never there in New York for it.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't like your MAGA hat either. So.
Man,
they wouldn't be too fond of you. I would say your people, but they are your people. So. We got GMPC Andrew, who just shipped a basketball tourney yesterday. So shout out to Andrew. Everybody go give Andrew a follow. I'm gonna put him back up. Give him a follow if you don't. You probably do if you're in this stream, but that's neither here nor there. He's the man. Love this guy. Talk to him all the time. He actually helped me. I wouldn't have shipped my BR without him. So he's the boy. I'm back up. I'm gonna go chalky. Francisco Lindor. Take a lot of them, but love him. Can't go wrong. I took him in the first round of my. It was the 13th pick, so it was a 15-team draft. I took Lindor 13th overall over like Jordan and Corbin Carroll, and I slept like a baby that night.
Yeah, I think Lindor. I haven't been getting to a lot of Lindor because I said when we streamed the other night that I have Vlad over Lindor.
Yeah,
actually by a couple picks, I believe.
Vlad was gone for me anyway.
Yeah, Vlad went at the 2-3 turn, which is pretty much where I have him. I think I have him 13 or 14. Um, so I have a lot of Vlad. I have a lot of Vlad. I did a bunch of. Did you do any of those little eliminators?
The little I no, not for baseball. I did that for football. I'm terrible at eliminators. I actually
Yeah.
drafted I think 2 or 3 initially thinking they were just normal best balls.
Hmm.
And like I or no, what was it? No, it wasn't normal best ball. I drafted eliminators thinking they were weekly winners. So I was drafting and stacking bye weeks on
So
my eliminator teams, and I was getting crushed by like week 3. Or not
I'm
week 3,
going
but whatever,
to.
like early in the season.
So I'm doing something that I almost never do, and that's take Paul Skeens.
I've seen Skeens fall. I like any of Skeens, Scooble, Wheeler. I'm in on if they're 8 to 10 picks past their ADP.
Yeah, which I think I got what Skeens 4 picks past.
Yeah, here's like Wyatt Langford went right before you. I mean, I initially I was taking Langford, but now I'd take Skeens over him. I'd probably have gone Freddie Freeman, but you end up with Bryce anyway, so it works
Yeah,
out.
yeah, I like Bryce this year, man. I really do. I've been finding myself clicking his name a lot in the third.
As you should.
Yeah, if I'm on this side of the board, it's normally Bryce Harper for me if I'm looking infield, and then on the other side of the board, if he's still there, I go a ton of Corey Seager, who just went at to John.
Yeah. Seager. I'm still a little hesitant on Seager. He's fantastic for these formats. He's a points league dream, but at the same time, it's just he's so injury prone. I can't do it anymore. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
up.
I. Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's see. I do have Mets. Pete Alonso. Let's go with the standard combo. The
Yep.
Alonso Lindor. I know people probably have that much cheaper prior to, but I mean that offense is so good.
Yeah, it's really hard to get the core pieces from the Mets these days. It just is because of Alonso signing with the Mets. Like his price
Yeah.
has just been pushed up
He fell to
crazy.
45 to 50 often, if not later, prior to
Yeah,
signing.
and I have my bags from when he was in
Mhm.
that range. So
I thought he'd sign with Toronto. I was doing a lot of Vlad, Pete, occasional Springer, but not too much Springer,
mhm.
thinking Toronto was going to sign him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Miss
did the same
Alonso in the
thing.
high 40s, early 50s. It was a great time. Now it's like, well, Lindor Alonso, there we go.
Mhm.
Can't go
Yeah,
wrong.
I was finding myself doing exactly what you just said, drafting Pete with a lot of Blue Jays pieces because I thought of it like I thought of his free agency as kind of a 2 horse race between the Mets and the Blue Jays. So I was just
Yeah.
trying to get ahead on stuff like that. Like uh, even if they don't end up being a stack, like once he signs, are you really pissed about having Pete Alonso on your team? Like
No.
at
He's
I thought he was already too cheap.
again a dream for this format. He walks a lot, fat dingers, lots of ribbies, going to hit in a prime spot in the lineup wherever he goes. I maybe the Giants. I didn't want the Giants to get him, but they have Eldridge, so that didn't make too much sense.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, I was like, if it's Toronto or the Mets, I'm happy with wherever Alonso lands. And sadly, I don't think I got too many Lindor Alonsos, but I'll take Vlad and cheap Alonso.
Yeah.
You guys like any crazy long shot teams this year, like the O's a couple years ago? That's a good question. Um,
I definitely have two.
I'll say the Reds. I think the Reds are. I
Mhm.
thought last year, but they got
So
hurt
did
like
I.
crazy. McLean, Friedel, Christian Encarnacion Strand. Ladola wasn't himself, but I mean they got Singer who looks good. Ladolo's healthy. Green should be healthy. I got the Reds winning the AL Central. I took them while I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago. What
Oh,
about you, Dan?
interesting. See, so last year, if you asked me that question, it definitely would have been the Reds. I bet them myself to win the NL Central last season. But this year, my two teams, man, and it kind of shows with my exposures in this contest. Like, I think the Angels and the A's are just, they're going to really surprise people.
I
Maybe
like the
not make
A's.
the playoffs. Maybe not make the playoffs, but definitely outperform their projected win total.
Okay, I like that. Here, let's see. Now I'm in a tough spot. Michael Harris. or Riley Green. I do take Harris a lot, so let's mix it up. I take Green a lot, but nevertheless, I
Yeah,
figure it's probably easier to stack Green than Harris at this point.
Yeah.
Tigers, I'm all in for. I think the Tigers are going to be solid. That's a tough division. I like the Royals a lot. The Guardians, I expect to not be as good, but the Twins are still solid, and the Guardians are still going to be good, but not great. Yeah, it's a tough division. Whereas I don't see the NL Central too competitive.
Yeah.
Like already, the Cardinals are laying down. The Pirates, I mean, they have what? Like they have 3 bats, maybe 3.5. Pitching's
Yeah,
great.
it's kind of tough. The way that division is like in my head. Hold on, I am on the clock.
Yeah, make a
I'm
pick, bro.
I I'm just gonna do another Yankees stack. I
No,
think.
Andrew, no. Athletics are not taking the Dodgers. Got to make the playoffs first. I think the Athletics are going to be like a spunky team. I don't expect them to make the playoffs. I think the Rangers are back in the driver's seat for the AL West.
I did a Yankee stack on Sunday, and I'm doing another one. So
yeah, I mean, whoa, you took Jazz over Machado. I don't love that, but nevertheless, you have
I mean, we're
Judge,
shooting
so I
for
get it.
upside. We're shooting for upside,
Yeah,
and he
some
does stack. So
that's
I
where I
don't
go
mind Machado though.
DPA. You could get a lot of late Yankees pieces as a thing, so I don't feel the need to take a Jazz. Like Goldschmidt's there, Jason Dominguez is there. You just got Belly, so I
Yeah.
probably would have
See,
passed on Machado or passed for Machado.
my whole thing is that I don't expect Dominguez to make it back to me
Yeah,
whatsoever. He's been going crazy high compared to his ADP. It's been rising, and for good reason. Like if
yeah, he might hit
in the
leadoff.
middle 60s, yeah, in the middle 60s, like I think he's just like a kind of a smash. I'd much rather have him than Dylan Cruz.
I like Cruz because I could typically get him without reaching for him, and I like to draft. What's it called? Wood low. I've taken Josh Bell recently. That's gross, but I've mixed him in.
Yeah,
And I just took Seiya
yeah,
Suzuki because I have Kyle Tucker. So hoping for a few more Cubs here. Maybe the wind in Wrigley can blow out in the playoff weeks. We'll see.
yeah. You never know. Josh Bell is actually somebody that I've done in some net stacks too.
Yeah, you could do worse if you need a 6th or 7th infielder. I mean, he's gonna play every day because he's a switch hitter. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Nick says, "Can't Jazz be 85% of LED De La Cruz?" Maybe. I
yeah,
mean, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, sure. The thing is, he's more injury prone. He's dealt with the UCL last year, and surgery was like on the table for that. So I don't love hearing that. I'm not going to pay for infield Jazz, but I was definitely drafting outfield Jazz in the bullpen. That was fun.
Yeah, that's like a whole different story. I still think that he, like we talked about last time, I think he's appropriately priced or just priced a little bit ahead of where he should go. But I think that it's just that's entirely a product of where Judge falls.
Mm-hmm.
That he's like such an easy click to stack with Judge, just like I did and followed the chalk. Which it's fine.
Yeah.
I
I
think.
mean, yeah, you're going for the stack. If it was just natural, I'm absolutely taking Machado. Like, I would take him a full round or two ahead of Jazz, but I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes
So
Dominguez and Caminero. This team upside.
he went with the sexy turn right there.
Nick
Caminero and
Ball,
Dominguez.
boy, or your boy turned my boy from this chat. There has to be worse picks than Josh Bell out there. There definitely are. Let's go some. Who are some of the worst picks?
Who are the worst picks?
Let's get into the worst. Like worst picks. Actually, like Giancarlo Stanton might be one of the worst picks now.
Now, but you also don't see him go at ADP anymore. So I don't think you can like say that he's a terrible pick. Also, you're on the clock, so I'll leave you alone.
Fair enough. And I will gladly take a Logan Gilbert a full round past ADP. I am
that's
a Logan
ridiculous.
Gilbert fan. Hopefully the defense has improved this year, and even so, Seattle. I mean, he did great last year with Seattle's awful infield defense. So let's hope and pray for better. Willie Adames,
Yeah.
that's a fade. Not to say that's one of the worst picks on the board, but that's someone I'm not taking at all. And Spencer Steer. So, thank you to James, or I thought I said Jared T. Rojas. Thank you to you. Arias. Actually Dan made fun of me for taking Arias in a San Diego stack like last week. So
Yeah, you also took Stephen Kwan on the same team, so I
okay, because
was
he
just
fell. That was just I needed an outfielder and he fell. I took him. That wasn't someone I
yeah.
wanted.
Once again, kind of in a terrible spot. I don't like drafting Nick Castellanos. I never really do it. I have
I
Harper.
used to,
Still
but
don't care. And I am going to take my guy Pablo Lopez.
Pablo, that's dude. Arguably SP10, maybe. Yeah, we
Yeah, I
discussed it
think I
last
have
time.
him. I
I have
have
him around
him
SP10.
above Sale and Nola.
I have him above Cole and Burns, but I take Sale before him.
Mm-hmm.
Strider, that is interesting. I mean, good luck. I hope he pitches a lot.
He took Strider in the last draft we did too. So.
Yeah, I mean, what does Dark Sheep know about Strider and his arm and his health?
Castellanos is just sitting here. I think I'm just gonna.
You're just gonna click.
Do it.
No!
I'm just gonna do it. It's
right
so
after
painful.
Ned said, he's a ball knower's favorite fade. Oh no. Yeah, if I don't have Schwarber or Harper, I mean, you have Harper, so whatever. But I get it.
And you know what? To be fair, like we did talk about this last time, where at least talking about stacks, like you do want correlation. I think Castellanos, it's tough because where he bats in the lineup, he's kind of like the cheap link between Harper and the rest of the Phillies pieces.
Yeah.
Because Harper's probably going to bat.
Do you take the back like Kepler and Stott? Do you take those guys? Or
I think they're really interesting.
Okay.
I take more Marsh than Kepler.
And there goes Cruz. That was going to be my pick. So
yeah,
I'm in a peculiar spot now. I don't want to have to pay up for the Bregman. Ugh. Now this is gross. I'm going to do something I don't love. But yeah, I don't take a lot of Michael King, but if he sticks in San Diego, great park, K upside, great pitcher. I got no problem with that. I don't love it. I don't take him a lot, but I didn't love the board either.
Yeah, I like the pick. Michael King last year was one of my guys. Not in this contest.
Why didn't you tell me?
NFBC. What do you mean?
I mean, I didn't draft. I did take him in a few leagues, but like as a flyer more so than anything. I didn't take him thinking anything. I didn't have any staunch thoughts, especially because of his injury history. But what made you in on Michael King initially?
His raw stuff is just, I mean, it's insane. Like just watching the dude pitch, you're like, how does anybody hit this guy?
Yeah.
He's got like that frisbee sweeper slider thing.
Yeah.
And then that two-seam sink or whatever it is just, I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
All that run on it, dude.
Second year? Second full season starting. Probably due for a little bit of regression. He has, his peripherals are about a 3.5 ERA, but even so, that's good enough, especially with the Ks. And again, he shouldn't get blown up too bad.
No, I do like that it sounds like he's going to be in San Diego for the entire season.
Yeah,
I know that there were some trade talks, but yeah, I don't see why they would move on from him.
So you think do you think they stay put? Because the noise right now, or the rumors, are Robert Suarez is the big name that they might trade.
Yeah, I think they're going to roll with the pieces, see what happens to the first maybe third of the season, and if things are not looking up, they're probably
Jorge Soler. Okay,
I like Jorge Soler.
I love Jorge Soler, but I could get him at pick 110.
I don't know. Not in a lobby like this. I think people are in agreement with us that
Nick knows
Jorge Soler is a good hitter.
I'm looking. How much Jorge Soler do I have? I'm big on standing by my take, so I'll take a lot of a player if I believe in him. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Between these, yeah, Soler 20% owned in my between dingers, base hits, and bunts. So
yeah. I actually don't um like it kind of looks crazy on the surface. It takes Soler at 85, but if you've been watching, dude, outfield is just flying off the board expectedly.
Yeah,
Nobody wants Stephen Kwan. Nobody wants Lane Thomas. Guys don't really touch George Springer. Like at
it's
a certain
fair.
point, like I was looking for Tyler O'Neill's name. Did he just go? Oh no, he's still
Nope.
there.
Matt Chapman went to me right now. That
Oh
big
yeah,
boy.
I made you a believer,
I've
didn't
been a
I?
believer in Matt Chapman. I liked taking him with Helio Ramos, and I'm probably not going to do that as much until we get like a full clearance of his health.
Yeah, fair enough.
So let's project close to outfield in fifth, sixth rounders. No, Soler's fantastic. I'm just saying, usually he falls for some reason. So he's someone I like to not wait for, but like I'm fine not reaching on because I could get him pick 110 and like he's around Springer, he's around Pete Crow Armstrong. Yeah, give me
Yeah,
Soler all day in that range. Here, I definitely think he should be close to the Colton Cowsers, Profars, Castellanos, Cruzes. Like that's where he should have been going this whole time, but he hasn't been.
yeah. John took my
Tyler
pick
O'Neill.
there with O'Neill. So
That's another guy. I looked at him at pick 91, but yeah,
yeah, I got stuck. John of the Badge Bros did a stream earlier today, and I was in the draft, and I ended up taking Stephen Kwan stacked with Lane Thomas, like 10, 12 picks
fascinating.
as ADP, and I hated it. But
You should.
it's like it was like what I was left with that outfield. I didn't want anybody else.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. That's how the cookie crumbles. Are you gonna take him here? Are you the Quan guy?
Uh, so
If
I've
not,
drafted Quan twice, and I've done an ungodly amount of drafts across contests. You know what? I think I am going to take a guy that I've been meaning to get more of, and that's Matt McLean.
okay. I like Matt McLean in managed leagues just because of the second base shortstop eligibility, but shoulder injury, misses a full season. I kind of got to see it. Obviously, playing in Great American is fantastic. I expect the offense to be better, but you never know with those things.
Yeah, I mean Matt McLean, almost in a way, like he was a solid prospect, but I think he
Ooh,
far
JJ
overachieved.
Bleday. Wow.
Outfield's just getting pushed up. Like these
Yeah.
ADP doesn't mean anything.
No, clearly.
I considered Blade at 98, just full
Yeah,
transparency.
I've
So
taken Bleday at 110 regularly, and that's 20 to 30 picks past his ADP, like his typical ADP at least.
yeah,
If
I
Tyler
like
O'Neill's
Blade.
gone, I'm looking at Bleday and Soler. And I guess
Yeah,
I'll be the
agreed.
Quan guy here. I mean, I don't want to have to do
Yeah,
it, but at 102, it's just like whatever. He's going to play every day, hit leadoff. I don't think the offense is good. I think the Cleveland Guardians are a bottom 10 offense, even with J
agreed.
Ram. But
Agreed.
Quan's going to play every day.
Yeah, I'm just low on that entire team. Like I don't really want pieces from that team. But the
Yeah, no,
counter to that is that they do have 14 games in the finals.
that's
So
valuable.
man, if you can advance some pieces of that team, and the other team is the Angels that has 14 teams, if you can advance some of those pieces to the finals, like
Yeah, I mean, if you
you
get
do
J
have
Ram,
somewhat
there's
of
no
an
reason
edge.
not to take Quan. You're believing in the Cleveland Guardians offense regardless. So
Yeah.
I don't have him, obviously, but beggars can't be choosers when I don't hate PCA, especially in roto leagues where steals are so valuable, but I'm not taking PCA for the stack over Stephen Kwan.
Yeah. Yeah. I just the outfield range is terrible. It's kind of in at least in my opinion, like it's just Tyler O'Neill or bust. Um,
Yeah.
for me, I
No,
do like I'm lukewarm on Helio Ramos. Like I've said, like I think he's solid to an extent.
I think he's good. He's
Um,
great versus lefties. That's kind of the issue, but the Giants don't really have the luxury to platoon like a youngish prospect. I know they have just Stremski and whatnot.
yeah, it's. I mean, he was a massive prospect when he was like a teenager. So he's always kind of had that pedigree. But he showed it last year. I mean, there were stretches that were really ugly for that guy, but man, I think he's got a lot of untapped potential.
Yeah, I mean the Statcast data is somewhat favorable. He's not like a fluke. Spencer Schwellenbach, there goes my guy.
I'm
Um,
surprised he fell as far as he did.
I'm gonna do something. I'm not gonna take Helio, but I'm gonna take Jung Ho Lee.
Oh god.
Gross, but I have Chapman. Lee's gonna play every day towards the top of the lineup. I think I'd take Lee over Ramos right now.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree more. Just because, like the way, at least on your team, like to me, Quan and Jung-Hoo Lee are basically the same player, or what we're expecting
But I don't care about
both players to be.
categories. I just care about points. But I get what
But
you're
you also
saying.
care. You also care about spikes.
Yeah.
You want these guys to spike. Yeah. So yeah, this is a really
We
really
also haven't seen
gross
too much of
card.
Jung Hoo Lee in the league, so who knows?
Yeah. There's always that potential.
Yeah.
I guess
Just for
I
upside.
wasn't expecting much last year, and he was a guy I faded
Yeah.
in regular fantasy outside of best ball.
Yeah, I wasn't in
So
on him
it's almost
either.
like confirmation bias for me, where I'm like, oh yeah, I was right, but he could definitely be somebody that really exceeds projections.
Yeah. I'm not in love with the Giants. I hate the park. And the pitchers in that division are brutal. So I'm not like gunning to do it, but I got Chapman and I didn't want Ramos, and I wanted a little bit of correlation there. I
Yeah.
typically don't take it. I think Adames is overpriced. So that's the one Giant I'm really out on. Do you guys take players you don't like if there's stack? It depends on how late the player I don't like is, and it depends on why I don't like him. If it's like an injury reason, if I think their arm's going to fall off, no, I'm not taking them. But like a Lee, I wasn't taking earlier. But if I have Chapman, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. So I just went with a fourth Yankee,
And you're a
going for the
bastard for
massive.
taking Kerry Carpenter.
Yeah, I know you have Riley Green, but I felt like I couldn't fall behind at outfield any
That's
more
fair.
than I already had.
Damn, so we can't collude anymore. There goes that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have felt really, really shitty about my outfield if I had left that turn without drafting at least one. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now I have a decision to make, and I think I'm gonna make the less stacky choice. I'm just gonna take another pitcher, Bailey Ober. Really a big fan of Bailey Ober. Been a big fan for the past 2 years. Uh, he comes with a weird risk where it's like he's so big that, and like his delivery is like almost like it's vicious. So he's not injury prone with his like arm and shoulder. It's like his body, like he had like an
he's
oblique injury.
tall.
He's so big.
He's a tall motherfucker, man. Like he's like
It's
what,
all
six
over
eight?
now. He's huge, big boy,
Let's
big boy
see.
season. But he's good. He's good as hell.
He is. Oh, sorry, 6'9".
Oh my god. Yeah. So that's just like an anomaly of a pitcher. But he's like
Yeah,
built. He's not like a lanky guy either. He has some meat on his bones.
yeah. I liked Ober coming in last year. I drafted a fair bit of him, and for some reason this year, I just like, at least on Underdog, have not been getting to him much.
Yeah.
It's just because there's so many names in this pitching tier
I mean, yeah,
that we're
look,
kind of in the
Ober,
middle of.
Bibby, Bryce Miller. I have them all kind of in a bucket. It's like I'm
Yeah,
happy with any of them, but I think I prefer Ober the most. I think he has the most upside of the bunch.
yeah. I personally have Bybee above Miller and Ober.
Okay.
I have it Bybee, Miller, Ober, but like I think we're splitting hairs.
Yeah.
I guess splitting hairs between Miller and Ober in my mind, but I do like Bybee the most.
Fair.
Yeah, he's one of my like primary targets, at least in this
No, I
portion of
love
the draft.
Bybee
If
too.
I'm
I have a
going
lot
for
of Bybee.
pitching,
I have way more Bybee than Ober, so I'm fine balancing it out because pitchers are all again they're a bucket. Just you don't know who's going to get hurt at any given moment, so diversifying is best.
yeah, it may be too like gal brain to like for it to really matter, but something I definitely think about is drafting pitchers in the same divisions as my hitters. Um,
Oh, you do that or you don't do that?
no, I stray away from that, or at
That's
least I
yeah.
try to.
Yeah.
Um,
Likewise.
and I find myself drafting a ton of pieces from the AL or what was I going to say that the AL West, so I don't
Pitchers or
get to
hitters?
Bryce Miller a lot. Hitters, I take a
Okay,
ton of
so you
Angels
you
and
don't
A's.
take Bryce Miller because of that.
Yeah, and that's like
That makes sense.
legitimately the only reason why I don't have more, because I think Bryce Miller's fine.
Yeah, no, he's not bad. Okay, I would be looking at Senga here if not for the recent news of yeah, did not love to hear that he's not really ready, so that's weird. Let's go. You know, he's been rising, but I'm a Jack Flaherty fan. We'll never
Yeah,
not be.
he would have been.
Strikeouts. I love the team. Don't really have hitters aside from Riley Green, who's in that division. I guess Bailey Ober I took in, but I only have one Detroit guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, Flaherty, K upside. He just has to stay healthy, and he's a borderline ace.
he would have been somebody that I would have been looking at this turn, because there's a few guys in this range of pitching that I just
Mm-hmm.
like. I kind of see their names still around, and I don't pay attention to anybody else. And that's Carlos Rodon, Kikuchi, and Jared Jones. Like, I think they're just absolute
Yeah,
smashes. Um,
that's the
I don't
thing.
mind Seth
Flaherty,
Lugo, but
his ADP hardly rose after signing with the Tigers, and that's a great park to pitch in. Young team should win some games. Gonna let him pitch deep. 5-man rotation, I'm pretty sure. He's got the case. He obviously has the injury risk, but again, who doesn't have injury risk at this point?
yeah,
So I think he should have risen to I don't know, like Sonny Gray earlier. Like he should be at least 20 picks higher, typically.
you know what? I
I
had
don't
a
know. Let me see
plan
some names.
here, and I'm just
Grayson
gonna.
Rodriguez, maybe not Schwellenbach, but like Freed, Glasnow, Sonny Gray, Alcantara. Yeah, like Flaherty should be closer to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somewhere in that range. I think it's just it's a product of him being a free agent for so long that his ADP
Oh, there you
it was
go.
so far down.
There you
I
go.
mean, the same thing
Dan,
happened to
Mariners
Bregman,
don't
right?
play Hugh or Tex in the playoffs if that matters to you.
Oh,
Oh, Nez missed that on Senga. Hopefully, well, I mean, it's not like he
eh,
suffered a new injury. He's just not ready. So we don't know what that means.
yeah. Oh,
And
damn.
Parker Meadows goes. That's another injury update from yesterday. That's your boy, but how are you feeling now with the upper arm inflammation biceps issue? Are you soft fading for a sec?
No, because I
Okay.
took him today. I took him yesterday. I think that at this point in spring, like any kind of negative note is going to make most people shy away from players. But if the Tigers are okay with it and they're not overly concerned, I'm not either.
There.
So yeah, I guess in a roundabout way, I'm saying like I really don't give a shit, and
Okay.
I would take Meadows at ADP and not really think twice.
Speaking of Tigers, take a little Glaber. I have Green. Need another Tiger. A little bit of a reach. He falls sometimes, but let's see how this one goes.
Oh, to stack it up. I see you.
Stack it up. Stack. I mean, you took Max. Do you
Yeah,
have other Dodgers, or is that your first Dodger?
that is my first Dodger.
Nice.
The only reason I did not take Meadows is because the draft I literally just did on stream on Sunday was a Yankee stack that had Kerry Carpenter and Parker Meadows on it.
Okay. I really like your pitching staff,
So
by the way. Skeens, Pablo Lopez, Jacob
yeah,
DeGrom, Jared Jones. That's filthy.
yeah, I like it too.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely going to be a 6 pitcher staff, I would imagine.
There you go.
Um,
See? Let's see where I'm at. Here's Kev. Yeah, Gilbert, King, Ober, Flaherty. I'm probably gonna go 7, even though Gilbert I think is pretty safe. But King,
yeah.
Ober, and Flaherty come with some elevated risk. Doesn't mean I don't want to draft them, but like I would want an extra pitcher with those guys as my 2 to 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. I know we've talked about allocating draft capital in different positional groups and stuff like that, I think you can never go wrong with over or not. Obviously, there's a cap, but taking too much pitching,
Yeah.
like it, just with the way
Well,
pitchers
there's
get
too
hurt,
much
man.
is too much. Again, you only have to fill 3 spots per week.
Yeah, I always lean towards going 7/6. I think it just makes more
Yeah,
sense
more often than
at
not, I'm going
this
7.
point in spring training, at least.
Yeah, definitely. But again, injury news like Senga potentially and whatnot. Hey, like it's going to push other guys up the board, and then at a certain point later in the draft season, you're kind of really grossed out by the late guys that you used to like, or that not the guys you used to like are no longer around, and there's just a bunch of guys you don't want. So, yeah, definitely depends on when you're drafting too. Let's see.
Yep.
Rodon gave up a homer and now falls 1 round every draft. That's how it's going to go. You're going to get some crazy values over the next 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, these overreactions. Kind
When
of
does
goes in
the
line
dinger
with what.
start? Is it for the Tokyo series or is it's after the Tokyo
No,
series?
it's after. It's
okay,
after.
that makes sense. So
Those
last
Tokyo
year,
games do not count.
who was it? Yamamoto and Darvish, or who gave up a crazy amount of runs last year?
Yamamoto. He threw
And
1 inning, gave
else.
up 5 earned.
Someone else got blown up.
I do not remember. I just remember Yamamoto because I was up at like 6 a.m. for that game.
Incredible. Whomever it was, Yamamoto fell in ADP 50, 60 picks, and so did the other guy. Speaking of guys, I'm looking at, my good friend Luis Gil. Why not? I don't love the AL East Parks this year, but at the same time, I think Heel is a good enough pitcher. He has the strikeouts, and again, I'm not going to get the bad weeks. He's pretty young, and I doubt the Yankees are going to have the luxury of going 5-man, even though they have the talent on the roster.
Yeah, agreed.
Pavetta's another guy I considered.
Pavetta and Fott, yeah, those are the pitchers in this range.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Alec Bohm here.
Boom? Alec Boom?
Alec Bohm.
Oh, you have Harper. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of trade risk, but that's good value there.
Yeah. Okay. So we're getting to this.
Musgrove was the series. Well, Musgrove didn't really matter last year anyway. So
yeah, this is a crazy push up of outfield. Yeah, I'm just gonna say screw it and like I don't care about outfield and just try to ball know my way out of it later and take Tosh Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley's a great pick. That's just standard.
Yeah,
who's your
he's
guy's
my most
highest
owned pitcher?
Yeah, okay, there you go. So that's your most owned pitcher. He's one of my most owned pitchers.
I see the question.
Yeah, mine is I think it's Josh Lowe, actually, funny enough, is my highest owned player.
At one point in time, that was my highest owned player. I kind of sagged off just because I had gotten a bunch of Combinero Lau, Lau low stacks.
Lau
early on, yeah, with Brandon Lau. When Combinero was way cheaper and Brandon Lau wasn't going in every draft, so I feel like I'm like good there and I can focus on other areas.
Fair.
But yeah, my most owned infielder is Contreras, and my most owned outfielder is Newbar.
Interesting. Speaking of, someone I have picked up, but I'm actually pushing up, Christopher Sanchez, clocking 97 miles per hour in preseason. Let's see if that translates to more Ks.
Love Christopher Sanchez, man. I've kind of been he's been my guy in this range all year long. I've been taking him over Luzardo, Keller, Urios, Manaea, or not Manaea. Manaea was healthy. I was taking him over.
Yeah, Manaea no more. Manaea is off my board.
Yeah, Christopher Sanchez to me is just like he's as safe as it gets down here, and you're starting to get into a tier of pitching that's just like, are these guys good or not? Like you're really having to make some thin bets at the back end here.
And Christopher Sanchez is good. He's just kind of weird because like he was kind of a pop-up guy 2 years ago. And he's stuck. He 181 innings in like last season, 99 in 2023, but it was because of injury. I think he was in the minors, so he pitched 150 innings that season. So
Yeah.
he's a horse for the most part.
Yeah, that's the way I view him. The closest thing to a horse back here is Christopher Sanchez.
Matt has the exact
and
comp.
Mitch
He's
Keller.
arbitrage Framber.
Yeah, in a way, they're very, very similar.
Yeah.
Because Christopher Sanchez is still young, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how old is he? 27?
I think he's 29.
Oh, okay, so he's a little bit older. Oh, he's 28.
Oh, okay.
Right in the middle. Yeah. I was thinking he was just a tad younger, but
nevertheless, that's still young enough.
He's still young enough in his career where I think that there is some potential strikeout uptick. It's always going to be relatively low as a sinker baller. But he's fine. If he can get as close as possible to like a strikeout per inning, man, this dude's such a smash in this contest because innings are hard to come by, and I expect him to provide a decent portion of them.
Yeah, love Chris Sanchez. Got a bunch already, but I'm pushing him up a little bit. Probably like 5 to 10 picks, somewhere in that range. Luzardo, I'd been taking Luzardo. He's getting pushed up a lot too, and he comes with a shit ton of injury risk. He says he's healthy now, but I am a lot less interested given that innings pitched are so valuable on top of Ks. So would you be comfortable with Luzardo on the push-up?
Yeah. Luzardo is fine. It's like a bet on talent. I think
he's great.
I think Luzardo works on certain teams. It kind of depends what your pitching staff looks like. Yeah. Like a team like mine where I am so over invested in pitching and I took a bunch of upside plays like DeGrom and Jones and Bradley, like I would never tack on Luzardo on this team.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go safe in the beginning, like I think it works perfectly well.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's see. What are we doing here? I have Tucker, Green, Suzuki, Kwan, Lee. Let's go Brendan Donovan.
I think you're just going with all the boring outfielders.
All the jaggy outfielders, anti-spike week guys. But I have Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, so
on base god. I think his power spikes back up this year. I think he had Tommy John prior to last season, so we'll see if he's 100% this year.
Yeah. I think this is probably the first time I've ever gone 5-6-4 through 15 rounds. It doesn't happen, and I have to take my top owned outfielder. Like, we're just falling so far behind at outfield. Newbar's my 5th outfielder, so we're running out of time. And I know Sheep is sitting there with a Cardinals stack, and we're trying to set it up, but I can't allow that.
There you go. I think we both screwed him out of that, but maybe he takes Alec Burleson. Who knows? I know you don't like him, but it's fine.
It's a fine pick. He goes late enough to where, like, if you have a conviction about Burleson, like, it's fine, but he's just not a guy I gravitate towards. Yeah, Garrett Mitchell was going to be my pick at 194. Yeah, just to close or try to get more outfilders.
Reese,
all my guys are gone.
I used to get that combo with my last 2 picks. Yeah,
I did it a bunch. Yeah, it's starting to get pushed up somewhat.
God damn it, Dark Sheep. There you go. God damn it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to embrace the shoot the moon narrative, and I'm going to take Brandon Woodruff because I think he's fine. I think he's going to be fine.
I'm not in love with it. I hate that pick. I don't think he's going to help, and I don't know if he's himself after shoulder surgery, so we'll see.
We'll see. I think you're wrong.
I mean, he even said he's not, like, he'll be more himself in the second half, so you're going to get a half season. ADP
That's when
is
it matters
at this point. Pretty much. I'm complaining because I'm not going to be able to get that where I used to get it. And it's a great pick where you got him because they're just 2 really good players. It's a great combo.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet on him because I think even if he's like, let's just say 70% of what he was when he was, healthy and one of the best pitchers in the league, like, I think he's kind of a value at 194.
I don't
call me crazy.
I don't disagree. Okay, now let's go with a standard Kev pick. I like a lot of the pitchers here, but Nick Lodolo, I have so much Nick Lodolo coming out of my ears, but I was going to take a seventh pitcher anyway, and he's the best one I see. I do like a lot of the ones left on the board, but sorry, no 8 SPs in this draft.
Yeah, I'm a slut for Lodolo too.
Yeah.
Have been for as long as he's been a name. It's just when you get burned so many times by the same guy, like when do you quit?
I mean, he broke his leg at the end of 2023, and he wasn't even himself. He said he wasn't fully comfortable on it last year, but he had the peripheral numbers, so maybe he puts it all together this year. Tough home park, but again, best ball. The beauty of it is I don't get the blowups.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough. I do
Fun
like
day.
him on your on your staff.
Yeah, high upside. We'll check it out after. We'll check out both full teams. Uvalde, another guy I was looking at. Hook was another guy, but Lodolo's my top rated among all of the remaining. And his ADP was basically the top, but it's not really saying much. I would have taken him over Luzardo, Eflin, Woodruff, a couple of the other guys. I don't want to scroll too far up because Wu went before, but like, yeah, Bradley Lodolo I would have in the same range. Oh, there goes Manaya and Holmes, the Helium Holmes.
Yeah. I got Holmes in a draft earlier, like past ADP. I was kind of surprised because of the helium.
Yeah, definitely. What's the difference between Woodruff and Ray? Ray pitched last year, and Ray looked good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that I think it's just a tough conversation to have. Like they're also going 40 picks apart
Yeah,
in the
that's
context
the
of
thing too.
this. Like because I have my fair share of Ray and I have a fair share of Woodruff at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll probably continue because I mean I just like betting on talent and we know what either of those guys can do and you're also getting a discount on them. So
Naturally.
willing to bet on those.
Let's see. I have 4 infielders. I need to target them clearly. Here's the thing. I'm in a weird spot because I have Detroit. There's not really much Detroit left. Yeah, even what's it called? Colt Keith is gone. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Colt Keith.
Easy.
Yep.
Wow.
Went 2 rounds ago. Can't take Colt Keith. Shoot for the upside. Hey, maybe Nolan Arenado gets traded. Who knows?
Yeah. See, all the outfielders are gone. I don't know what to do.
Figure it. That's why I take my outfield early. So I
Yeah,
get it out
like
of the way.
I mean,
Bubba Chandler
I should have
okay,
known.
bro.
I should have known that we're in a sharp lobby and outfield would get pushed up. I should have, accounted for that.
That's why I took Stephen Kwan, even though I did not want to.
Yeah.
No one wants to take Stephen Kwan. Jordan Beck, Zach Veenstack. I am very excited for the Rockies to never play their young guys.
Yeah, the Rockies are like allergic to youth. I just don't get it.
Well, they might trade Ryan McMahon. Apparently, allegedly, he's on the block and Milwaukee's interested. So, I mean, there's a chance we see the youth movement this year.
So, I don't know what to do, man.
Make a pick. You got 20 seconds.
Or less. All right.
You got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. There you go. Joe Adell. That's I mean, hey, maybe Taylor Ward gets traded. So,
he's still going to play every day, sir.
Is he? How?
Oh yeah, he's going to play center. Look into it.
He's their center fielder?
Yeah. Don't forget that he was a Gold Glove caliber right
I know he's a top
fielder, and he's
prospect.
got a ton of speed. Well, he was a top prospect in right field, but I think they want that bat in the lineup. They need the power.
I mean, I don't disagree. Oh, I forgot about Moniak. That's the guy. But
I think I'm going to do something really gross and just take Giancarlo Stanton and do 5 Yankees, or maybe not. No, I'm 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 not. I'm just going to take Max Kepler.
You'll sleep easier with that. Yeah, I guess Adele will play center field, but is he even a good fielder?
Yes,
Yeah,
he was a Gold
he
Glove finalist last year, I believe.
he and Mickey Moniak put up the same F4, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, one's a righty, one's a lefty, but I just I don't expect anything from Moniak. I don't think he's good.
That's fair. It's not a hot
So
take.
yeah, I am
Let's go with
not
the upside. A little Matt Shaw
afraid.
action. I got the other Cubs. Got
Yeah.
Seiya Suzuki. I've got Kyle Tucker. Little Matt Shaw. I'm a big fan. I think his bat's going to play really well. This lineup is looking like I need a seventh infielder, though. Lindor, Alonso, Chapman, Glaber, Arenado, Shaw. That is definitely a 7 infield team.
Wait, I haven't even looked at your team. I've just been so
Yeah.
focused on mine. Upside seven.
Adele's
Upside
80% for
play.
Rosarena.
I don't think you can go wrong with an infielder or an outfielder. It's just like
That's
whoever you
fair.
prefer.
Yeah, I mean, my
Just some
outfield
kind of
is
upside play.
somewhat safe, quote unquote, with like health. Like, there's no real nagging issues with Quan, Lee, Donovan, Suzuki, Green, or Tucker. But again, outfield is so volatile. I know who I would take just for the sake of a stack.
Yeah, by the way, love the Matt Shaw pick. I'm surprised he doesn't have more helium
Yeah, it's weird.
because he had a ton in the bullpen, like the way too early contest.
Mm.
But I think like it's been a huge like movement towards Christian Campbell, and like people might be just forgetting that Matt Shaw exists because their late dart throw is Christian Campbell.
Yeah. I like both. Campbell, again, with the Bregman signing, becomes a little tougher, but I'm expecting him and Ramon to play 80% of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
75 to
I think
80. Let's be
Campbell. I
safe.
think Campbell plays more than Anthony, but I expect them both to
It's
be
not
like
crazy.
centerpieces in the lineup
Yeah.
by
But
the end of
Ramon
it.
just being an outfielder like inherently makes him more valuable. If it was 1-to-1, I might
Absolutely.
take Campbell.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree.
I'm in a weird spot. Nico Horner is staring at me.
Oh God. You need upside. You don't need floor.
I know.
Shoot the moon. Shoot
Shoot
the
the
moon.
moon. You know, he hit a home run today. Heston Kjerstad.
Okay.
That's
All right.
should be their DH. I wanted another outfielder. Don't really have anyone in Baltimore, but I mean, hey, if you play 500 to 525 PAs in Baltimore, I like you in the 20th round.
Okay. I guess I'm just gonna do it and like. Oh,
You're
I'm not
going to
even
take
on the
Nico
clock.
Horner?
I'm not on the clock. I'm not on the clock.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna speak too soon.
Who'd you take? Oh,
No, I haven't
Gorman.
picked
That's
yet. I like it.
I
I
took
like
Gorman
it.
in OBP league today. I like the bounce back. Who are you taking?
They
What are you doing?
Christian Campbell.
Classic. You don't have anyone in Boston, do you? No, you don't. Yeah.
No, he's
Okay.
just an upside guy
Let's
on
do
a
some
team that I think
reviews.
has too much floor.
Okay, let's go look at the top of these. Thanks to everybody for hopping into the draft. Let's see who cooked and who burnt their toast. It's awful. Okay. Dan, obviously, Judge, Skeens, Harper, Jazz, Jiz Chasholm, Cody Bellinger, Pablo to start. That's solid. Aside from Jazz, I like everybody in this, and I get why you took Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tucker, Lindor, Alonso, Green, Suzuki, Gilbert. How are you feeling about that?
I like it. I
Yeah,
don't think that it could have gone any better for you, honestly.
I don't disagree.
All six guys are massive targets of mine. I guess
Now,
outside of Tucker, but
yeah,
I still take Tucker.
absolutely. Just because he's an outfielder, I would take Gunner. I would take Mookie. I would take Jose if these positions didn't matter, but sadly they do. Looking at the other teams on this board, who do you like the most? I'll let you go first, and then I'll give my input, and then we'll do who we don't like. Aside from our
Yeah.
teams, we don't count.
Oh no, I don't. We're not going to talk about who we don't like.
Okay, who do you like?
Not
Okay,
here.
okay. I want to have a little fun. Who knows? Okay, how do
No.
you like that's not yours?
There were. You know what? I got to take a second look here. Is there anybody that stands out to you? Because there was
Stands out.
somebody that was taking all my picks, and I wasn't happy about it.
That's a good one. I really like Nancy Min 99's team. Very solid. Tatis, J Rod, Santander, Reynolds. I know you don't like Reynolds, but he got Cruz, or she got Cruz, Nancy. And Altuve. Not a huge Altuve guy, but nevertheless, it's a solid, safe-ish pick. But yeah, that top 5 is nasty.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like the pitching staff, minus Gallen, I guess. And they did something that I haven't seen.
Oh, you're looking at the whole team. I was just looking at the start. But yeah, Nola, Webb, Gallen, Keller, Bassett. Don't love Bassett. I kind of hate Bassett, especially over Evaldi.
I love Bassett.
I'm not a Bassett guy. Holmes, Chandler, Festa went later. I don't even know who went at 240.
Alec Burleson.
I would take Bowden Francis over Chris Bassett.
I would not. I like the upside, the strikeout upside that Bassett showed last year. It was at the expense of like run suppression, but I think that if you can get both of those things to work simultaneously to some degree, he's a sneaky pick back here.
Yeah, actually, I like Nick's team too a lot. Kyle, Schwarber, Vlad, very safe. Trout upside pick there. Trey Turner, Caminaro, Jason Dominguez. That's a fantastic start too. So it would be between Nancy and Nick Bach.
Yeah. I did like John's team, Roto Run. I like that Langford, he just said, Steger. Screw the Langford injury, and like I'm just going to take him and stack him up with all the Rangers pieces.
Vientos with Soto, that's nice. Tyler O'Neill, Lowe, Meadows, Morel. Okay, so he's got some Tampa Bay. Does he have Detroit? He's some Detroit. Mets.
He drafted Colt Keith. You were wondering where he went.
Yeah, I'm very upset. I draft a lot of Colt Keith, especially when I take Riley Green. So I'm very upset about that. Roto Run. John, don't do that to me again, please. It would be very kind of you to not do that. But yeah, we're not going to talk about whose draft we don't like. We will look at the overall
I like everyone's draft. I like everyone's draft.
I like everyone did a great job. Gold star for you. Gold star for you. Roast away with my team. No, we will not do that. We'll save that for another episode specifically. We don't want anybody's feelings hurt. Badge Bros, GG's lad. Go check out the Badge Bros channel, please and thank you. Go follow them on Twitter as well. They are the men's. The men's,
yeah.
The men's.
They are studs.
Dark Sheep, you're getting your gold star up on the fridge. Yeah, just don't let mom take it down and put your sister's homework up anytime soon. But yeah, Dan, so build-wise, what was your build again? Let me go back to it. I'll get our teams up right now.
Yeah, so I did end up going 6-7-7. I thought I killed it through 6 rounds, and then I think the wheels kind of fell off. Like, I hate this draft, and I wish it got thrown out.
After the fact?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, now that I see this team, like, I'd be happy if it just, like, didn't exist.
Nice.
Yeah, so, you know, we're all going to have right drafts like that.
Here, okay, but, so you did do a 6-7-7.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Skeens, Pablo Lopez, Jacob deGrom falling. He was going in like the 70 to 80 range. Now he's going near pick 100. He goes after pick 100 at times. Jones, Bradley, Woodruff. I don't know if I would have gone. I mean, obviously going Skeens, again, you're banking on him, Lopez and whatnot, but deGrom, Woodruff, that scares me innings-wise.
Yeah, the only reason why I went 6 is because I drafted Skeens and Lopez, who I like. And then deGrom, too, like, I'm betting on him to be healthy with this team. So, you know, if he's healthy, he's Jacob deGrom. So I didn't feel the need to tack on a 7th. I probably could have gone more flourish than Woodruff at the back end. I probably, if I would have thought about that more, I probably would have done it. And taken outfield, infield, like earlier, or pushed them up to complete this team instead of taking bats at the very end.
Is it sharp to stack pitchers on the same team for a better chance at 2-start playoffs? I don't think so, because likely only one of those pitchers is going to get a 2-start in a given week.
So I personally do, but it can't be overdone.
There's a chance you could get the double up, or like one pitcher gets it one week and one pitcher gets it the next week. That's possible.
Yeah, I think that there is a ton of merit to stacking pitching, but it just can't be overdone. Like, I think you should cap it at 2 personally. That's what I try to do, is take pitchers almost like in tandems. I kind of did it with Skeens and Jared Jones, but it was more unintentional.
They're just awesome. So it's not
Yeah,
really a
yeah, it
stack.
was unintentional, but that's just the way it worked out. But I do think that there's like a ton of merit to
I
stacking
think
pitching.
I think it's smart, not for the reason you said, but because you're banking on the team to be good. If
Yeah,
I'm drafting Rangers or Rays, I want that team to be good so they could allow my pitcher to get wins and also the defense to be good. The team to allow them to go deep and whatever. It just you're banking on good players on good teams. That's always been my go-to. Because who's going to play deeper into the season and not get shut down? The good players on the good teams. Obviously,
hmm
health matters. Health is the biggest differentiator for all of this, but stacking is actually it works stacking pitchers, but it's your likelihood of getting multiple 2 starts in 1 week is very low. Uh,
yeah.
if you'd see my team, I stacked 3 teams of 2. Okay, yeah. See that like I don't think is there any sort of ideal stack like combos with 2 with 3 batters at least, or is there a wide array of stacking? The stacking is there a start point for stacking? Do you need 3 hitters for it to be a stack, or can 2 hitters on a team be a stack, Dan?
Two stack or two-man stacks can definitely be like a stack as long as they're like close together. Like Dark Sheep, who was in the draft with us, we mentioned him last time doing work for like on the Stacking Dingers channel. Like they did all kinds of data dives on just like how essentially what the optimal amount of stacking you should be doing and like the number of players within stacks is. And from what I recall, it's like you don't want to overdo it, but
Mm-hmm.
like underdoing it can also be fine. Like if you just do 2,
Okay,
you just want to do more stacks. In general, you want to have stacked hitters, I guess is like the bottom line.
fair
Um,
enough.
you just don't. I I don't remember the full scale because I've been drafting so many just stacked teams and doing what I do. But
Yeah.
go check out the Stacking Dingers if you want a better response to that question.
I know it took you everything not to say I'm micro edging you. That's he texts me that anyway, so Dan will get that out of his system one way or another. That's neither here nor there. Okay, looking back on your team. Okay, so the 6-6-7-7, very standard. I do this a lot, especially if I have elite starters like Skeens, Lopez, and one more typically. I mean, DeGrom, obviously, but his innings risk is massive. Harper, Jazz, McLean, Goldie, Muncy, Bohm, Christian Campbell. That is a star-studded infield. This is
Yeah.
this is just a bunch of monsters. Muncy's underpriced as hell still.
Yes.
You took him 10 picks ahead of
He's the
ADP.
most underpriced player in
Why
my
is
opinion.
Goldschmidt at
The
119
most.
and why is Muncy at 146?
I
Answer me
don't
that.
really know. I don't really
Obviously,
know.
they're fine. Both are fine picks. Not to say Goldschmidt at 119 is bad because you have the Yankees, but
Mm-hmm.
you could argue Max Muncy in this format playing every day on the Dodgers with his OBP and his like mashing ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
should
I'm
be
taking
a
him
fringe top
a lot.
100 pick.
The thing like I think there's zero platoon risk too because the Dodgers
Yeah.
infield depth is just so bad. It's just so
Sung Kim,
bad.
they're saying, is going to start in the minors.
Yeah, and I'm not expecting much from him. From what I've seen, I don't really understand the signing if they were going to bring back Kike Hernandez. But anyways,
Yeah,
the
neither here nor
outfield
there.
was interesting to say the
No,
least.
definitely. I love this infield. And Bohm, I haven't taken much, but he's such a good player. It's just the risk of getting traded to a less good team. Because
Mhm.
Philly is very good. It's unlikely they would trade him to like a contender, like the Braves or something. Not that they would trade for Bohm, but any trade is likely, like to Seattle, which is a team that might trade for a hitter. I don't like that. But
Yeah, yeah.
neither
There's
here
the
nor there.
risk.
Yeah. But at that value, I mean, if he stays in Philly, I would say he should be going in that Muncy to Goldschmidt range too, because
Mhm.
he's so good. He was on pace for 20 home runs and a 300 average, if not for the hand injury too.
Yeah,
Judge,
yeah. He finally broke out somewhat.
yeah. No, it's probably still a good discount on Bohm here. I should be taking more. Okay, Judge, Bellinger, Castellanos, Carpenter. I love Carpenter here, except for you taking him from me when I have Green and then taking Glaber. So I don't love that. Newt Bar when I just took Brendan Donovan wasn't cool, so I don't like that. But I love the players. Joe Adell. inherent risk as a play, not a platoon player because he's a righty, but just maybe being not good. But he showed enough last year that I don't hate this pick. Kepler, who knows? Maybe he just needed a change of scenery because he's been in Minnesota for a decade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
But
kind of what I'm betting on with him. I think that there's still a lot of a lot in that bat that maybe the Phillies can get the most out of, because I do have a Philly stack going,
yeah,
which is part of the reason I took him.
and they said one of Kepler or Marsh isn't going to be a platoon guy. It's probably going to be Kepler, but even so, hey, there's some upside.
Yeah, Marsh is the better defender, and he's been with the team longer. I feel like that kind of gives you a leg up on Kepler, but
Definitely.
we shall see.
Definitely. Now moving on, we'll do my team real quick. Okay, we have the old rotor surgeon, 767, a very classic roto surgeon build, aka me. Gilbert, 10 picks. That's insane. He's perfect for this format.
Yeah,
he's going to give you innings. He's going to give you Ks, quality starts, with some good wins. Not like 20, but he should get you like 12 to 14.
Yeah, you should feel great about that pick because I take Gilbert above ADP. So
yeah, I would take him at ADP. I would take him pick 50-ish.
That's pretty much. That's where I take him.
But 67 is crazy for me. Michael King, I don't take a lot of, and I really only took him for diversity. I usually would have taken Nola, but I'm not a huge Nola believer. It's an even year, or it's an odd year, excuse me. He's only good on even years. And we know how tried and true these methods are.
Yep.
I think it was the same thing with Eric Hosmer. Ozzy Albies is the opposite. Ozzy Albies only on odd years. We'll look into this real quick. But yeah, Nola on even years, Albies on odd years, if you're looking for the trend. Yeah, Michael King, still great. I love him. But yeah, a lot of risk, but we're leaning in. Ober, stellar. I'm fine with him at ADP. Flaherty, again, he should be going higher. This doesn't make sense. He still has the Dodgers hat, though, which is awesome. Great guy, too. Heel, Sanchez, Lodolo. So overall, this staff, where are you at?
I think it's a 10 out of 10.
Okay. Wow. I'll take it.
Genuinely think it's a 10 out of 10. I think it's super well constructed.
So good. Gold star?
Good balance. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good balance of upside, good balance of lore-ish, if you can call it that, with pitching. I don't trust any of these 7 guys because they're pitchers. So
yeah, naturally.
But it's as good as it possibly could be.
Yeah. Moving on. Lindor, Alonso, standard. Chapman, Glaber, Arenado, Shaw. I only went with 6. But then again, I mean, it's not like there's much injury risk with Arenado, Torres, Chapman, Alonso, or Lindor. Knock on wood. So Shaw, even if he's not up for a month, I'm not too worried about. And hey, Arenado, didn't they say Detroit was a potential trade destination? They didn't get Bregman.
That would be bad.
Bad for who?
Arenado.
Oh, yeah, naturally, because it's a terrible park. But at the same time, hey, at least I have a stack.
Yeah.
Hey, that's all we care about.
Yeah, I would have tacked on probably a 7th infielder here.
Yeah, looking back, I mean, I still like getting Heston, but yeah, you're probably right.
I do like that Shaw is on this team, though, because he gives your infield some level of upside.
Definitely, yeah. Chapman, Torres, Arenado is as boring as it gets, but can't hate it. Tucker, Green, Suzuki, Kwan, Lee. Wow, I have Suzuki, Kwan, and Lee. Amazing.
So I did an all-Asian draft last week.
How'd it go?
It went really well, actually. The team I was happy with it. I did take some non-Asian players, but it was a theme.
How many Asian infielders are there?
Well, if you
did you have to flub it? Did you have to be like, oh, he's Armenian, so there's no Armenian baseball players, but Armenian is technically Asian.
Bo Bichette is half Asian, so I included him. And Corbin Carroll was my first rounder. He's half Asian, so I was able to make it work. I just thought it would be interesting to do.
Lars Nootbaar's half Asian. Oh, you could get a few. But yeah, no, I got 3 over here. I really like Suzuki. I think, just with Tucker obviously coming in, Chicago's offense is boosted. I did want Dansby Swanson, though. That would have been a pick ideal for this draft, but couldn't get him. Yeah, Suki, Quan, Lee, Donovan. Quan, Lee, Donovan is boring, but again, it's a points league, so I don't really care if these are like high average, high OBP guys who are just scoring a lot of runs because those are all points, the same as RBI. So
Yeah.
I don't really worry.
Yeah, I could see this team. I know that Kerstad's at the bottom too. Like, I could see this team advancing. I just don't see how it gets to.
Gets there. Yeah.
Yeah,
We had a tough
and
room, man.
I think it's the same thing with my team too. It's just all the guys we like are gone because everybody else likes them.
Yeah, I did like Nick's start. So let's see how Nick landed the plane here. 866. Okay, so he went with the toll-free number. George Kirby, Bryce Miller, Carlos Rodon, Barrios, Manaya, Holmes, Festa. I love Holmes, Festa. This is Holmes, Festa, Francis. Like all of these guys were like around 19 to 20 targets. You can't get them in around 19 to 20 as often anymore. Well, probably Festa and Francis, but Festa's getting pushed up. Holmes definitely pushed up. Manaya discount. I mean, you took 8, so
I don't hate it.
But you have Kirby, Miller.
Well,
I mean, you waited, so Miller's safe-ish.
I like that he went. I like that he went 8 pitchers.
Yeah,
personally, he also got a huge Rodon discount. Which, this pitching staff's going to be, I think, tough to deal with.
Definitely, Rodon at 157 is really good.
In a good way for him.
Can't hate. Barrios, I'm out on just because he's become just such a jag, and Toronto is just gross. I hate that. What's it called? I hate that division for pitchers, especially mediocre pitchers like Barrios is now.
Yeah. Fun fact, there is one player inside the top 200 that I have never drafted.
There's probably a few for me, but who's that one player for you?
Jose Barrios.
Oh, okay. You kind of laid that one on the table for me there.
Yeah. Okay. I have yet to draft him, and I probably won't.
He took notable Asian Yandy Diaz. Oh, he played overseas. Is that like the
no? No, I couldn't take all Asian players. To make it work.
So that was the draft.
I took Lindor on the team, for example.
Oh, okay.
I took as many as I possibly could.
Can't win them all. If you like pitchers, look at my team. Which team is Matt F's? Oh, we didn't finish. Let's finish this first.
Oh yeah.
Vlad, Tree Turner, Caminero, Bichette, Berger, Volpe. Really like this infield. Love Caminero. I know you don't like Bichette, but at 108, I think it's fine.
It's fine. And he's stacked up too.
Yeah, stacked up with Vlad. But hey, that Berger pick at 133, that's money.
Sickening. Yeah, Berger's
in a good way.
Reach for sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, he has Berger's a full-on Toronto stack. Varsho, Springer. Yeah, no. Oh, okay. I get the Soler pick. He had Trout. So okay, that tracks. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Outfield was already getting pushed up, and I'm sure he recognized that. So
Dominguez at 61
ADP goes out the window.
I mean, you got Volpe later, but you kind of forced yourself to have to get that stack. I think Dominguez can absolutely return much more. I think he'd be a first-round pick next year. I don't think that's going to shock anybody if that happens.
Mm-hmm. I take Dominguez naked usually. Like, I don't need to stack him.
I would usually take Goldschmidt or something, but Volpe's fine too, especially 20 picks after ADP.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like that team. Yeah, Matt's team, was it Nance?
Round Square,
excuse me. Okay, if you like pitching, look at my team, he said. So, 6 pitchers. Skubal, Wheeler, Valdez, Schwellenbach, Arrighetti. Okay, I love everyone but Valdez, and only because, I don't...
I know why.
You know why I don't trust Valdez. I'm just not a big Valdez guy.
No, we can say it. So,
we our inside sources don't love Valdez.
Yeah, we do have, like, I guess, like a friend of a friend of a friend that's like in tune with the Astros. It says that Framber Valdez's arm is gonna blow up this year,
and this was last year. And then he had elbow issues, and then he came back and had an amazing season. So it was probably overblown.
Never. We don't know how true.
We don't know how true it is. See. But hey, you never know. These things could take time. I mean, Max Fried's had multiple like forearm whatever issues, and he's still pitching at a high level. So who knows? But yeah, I'm out on Valdez, especially because, like I said, you could get like you could take the Sanchez's later. You could take whatever Fest. I love Festa, so like I love a lot of late pitchers. So I'm okay with fading a guy like Valdez, who I don't trust, but love Schwellenbach.
I would be taking all the Valdez if I hadn't had heard that his arm was going to blow up. But
yeah, I don't. It's like where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah. And they don't want to extend him. I think that there's some truth to it, but we'll see.
That's kind of the word we got. There's a reason they're playing around with his extension or not extending him was because of that. So
Yeah.
Don't shoot the messenger, and also don't sue us for whatever
He's
reason.
winning the Cy Young this year.
Yeah, dude, he's a lot. I'm gonna bet on him next time I'm in Vegas. Okay, Schwellenbach, Arrighetti, Hook, like we said, fantastic. Arrighetti, I think again, I brought this up last time. If he plays the full season, that's a massive pick because he's so good. His strikeout
Mm-hmm.
upside is crazy, but his downside, I mean, he's very volatile. Um, and Houston, it's not like they have the most depth, but they have some guys on IL they could bring back. If Arrighetti's struggling, I could see him getting demoted.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that risk with him. I think Arrighetti's kind of a sicko, but I think that there's a very high likelihood that he's just 2024 Brandon Fott, where
Yeah,
he gives you
that's the thing.
strikeouts, but the ratios are not going to be there. And then
It's a great
I'm
comp.
betting on Fott to be a stud this year.
Yeah, I like
Maybe that's
Fott.
Arrighetti next year.
Like I think Festa and Arrighetti are kind of two in the same, and I could get Festa at the end of the draft. So I'm kind of out on Arrighetti.
I do
Hook,
view them similarly.
Hawk,
Similarly,
Hawk Tua, Hawk Tanner. I like him. Very solid. Okay, Gunner, Westbrook, Paredes, McMahon. I'm not in love with McMahon if he gets traded because
I love
Colorado is
McMahon for
obviously
floor. He's a good floor pick.
yeah, but even so, okay, Pena, Diaz, Mountcastle, Soderstrom. I mean, you hit. I love Mountcastle. I love Soderstrom, Paredes, Westbrook, Gunner. So you got like a bunch of guys I'm absolutely targeting. Not in love with Pena, Diaz, but that's fine.
Diaz is a good pick, I think.
I like him in roto or regular drafts, but unless it's OBP. But yeah, he just doesn't walk. It's weird.
Yeah.
Soderstrom, Mountcastle though, chef's kiss. I
Yeah,
did that
that's
early.
good.
Okay, Churio, Doyle, Robert, Cowser, Nolan Jones, Conforto. I probably would have gone with one more outfielder here and
Nah,
laid off one
I
infield.
disagree. I
You
disagree.
disagree?
Yeah, I think 686 was actually a perfect build for this team. I
Mm,
really like the way he built this team.
I mean, I love Doyle and Churio. That's awesome. Robert, again, it's injury risk. Nolan Jones, I don't know what the hell happened to him last year with the injury. Cowser's a platoon potential, and Conforto's probably a platoon. So
Yeah, I say it too that I like the way he built this team because I know how this draft went. All the outfielders flew. Like he
fair.
probably felt like he was in a position where like I don't like any of these guys, and I'm not taking a seventh outfielder, which I respect.
Okay, fair enough. And hey, look, if McMahon gets traded to the Milwaukee Brewers, you have Churio. That's hey, it worked out. So one way or another, with Colorado or Milwaukee, you got that combo. So
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Matt. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff there. Conforto mashes lefties. Yeah, I checked that too. I tried to convince Dan, but then like we still have Pajes, who's really good versus lefties, and also the Dodgers
Yeah.
really don't have the need to play anyone every day or any of their
Mm-hmm.
like non elite players every day. Aside and like Muncy kind of doesn't count because he's grandfathered in.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I take my fair share of Conforto.
Yeah, I've taken a lot of Conforto, but I don't expect him to play every day. So I'm not. If I was drafting as if Conforto was playing every day, I would be taking him by Tyler O'Neill and those other guys if he was going to play every day.
Interesting. Yeah, I think he's gonna probably get 80% of the plate appearances in left field.
Yeah,
I
probably.
think that's
But
a I
again,
think that's a good estimate.
and there's an off shot. Hey, injuries happen, and he hit versus lefties last year. Career wise, not as good versus lefties. I think his number is like closer to average, if not slightly below average. But it doesn't matter. Spencer Schwellenbach, I think is going to compete for Cy. I don't think that's crazy. Schwellenbach's very good. Probably needs to get the K numbers up to compete for a Cy. I view him something like a NL George Kirby.
Yeah, I think that's pretty likely. I like Schwellenbach, and at first like it was tough for me to get around on him because it seemed like he was going way higher than he should. I thought
Mm,
guys were like pushing him up too far since he wasn't in the bullpen and is now in the dinger. But then I realized like, oh shit, like he's actually priced pretty appropriately. Like I need to
yeah.
get in on this. So I've been taking more.
Definitely. I'm in like again the range. Freed, Glass. Now I'm not in on those guys. I think I prefer Grayson to Schwellenbach
I
just for
do
the K
too.
upside,
I do too.
but
But I think they're very similar.
similar. Yeah. So there's ranges, buckets, and then there's the Ober Miller, uh, Bybee tier that is
Mhm.
or bucket that is in and of itself. But I don't think that's crazy to say they're in that same Schwellenbach Grayson bucket too. It's pitchers weird.
Yeah.
Defense weirdly affects them. Team context, sadly, but neither here nor there. I think there's some solid teams we got. I doubt the Dinger winner is in this draft, sadly.
Well, I'm gonna laugh my ass off if the Dinger winner is in this draft.
Yeah, someone's
because
gonna.
it won't be one of us.
It will not be one of us. It's gonna watch it be like Nancy, man. Who is this year's Rooker, Duran, or Lugo Skeens for you? That's
a good question.
Rooker. So that would be like a longtime guy.
Joe Adell.
No, because he hit kind of well last year.
Joe Adell.
Because Rooker was getting played around between like the minors. Odell was basically up for all of last season.
Well, Rooker was too before last season too.
He's been up prior to, but he hadn't been up for a full season because I really liked Rooker in the past. I spelled rocker, excuse me. Rooker. Let's see how many. I want to know how much he played before. Oh wow, he did play a full season in 2023, but I guess he just boosted his average. So yeah, Adele works. That's a fine comp.
Yeah, I think Adele could break out. I mean, we're talking about a former top 5 prospect.
Oh, he was an all-star in 2023. Okay, well, there you go.
I don't even remember that. I'm a Brent Rooker guy.
Yeah, his counting stats, aside from home runs, were not great, but
they needed representation.
Okay, how about a pop-up guy? Okay, the Rooker for this year, I will say it's either Soderstrom, same team, or Aranda.
Well, Rooker's an outfielder. You got to give me an outfielder comp.
Well, he's a UT. He's UT now. He's a D8. He was mostly a DH.
Well, on NFBC, not in here.
Okay, that's fair. God. So you say Joe Adele. That's your guy. That is a tough call because, again, it's so bad. Outfield.
I think Joe Adele fits too because...
Yeah, just a masher.
And he also gets 14 games in the finals, and Rooker was a playoff carrier last year in this contest. So Adele, I could see being the one that takes a leap and matters a ton.
Okay, I guess I'll just say it's the guy I took. It's Kierstead. Outfield eligible, plays for a really good team. I mean, not that Rooker did last year, but if he plays, again, 525 PAs, I think Kierstead could have a great year. Parks improved, divisions, Parks are overall improved. The lineup context helps him a ton. Huge power. So why not Kierstead? Okay, Blade Carpenter, I would say, but they're both like in the top 150.
Yeah.
But I like them both a lot. Buxton doesn't count. Buxton's broken out.
I love Buxton. He's perfect for this.
It's like, who's a breakout for 2025? Paul Goldschmidt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really I get the logic there.
Okay, the Duran, the speedy guy, I guess more for roto formats, like us. That's a tough one.
Yeah, Duran's tough. I've seen him compared to Parker McCarthy? Meadows.
Or Mitchell or McCarthy?
I think Mitchell is probably my pick because I don't think McCarthy has the power to replicate what Jarren Duran did last year.
No, definitely not. But at least McCarthy is more likely to play every day. Mm-hmm. So that comes into play for like these best ball formats.
Well, Mitchell, dude, I think he's going to play near every day.
Maybe.
And Milwaukee, if he hits the cover off the ball, he's going to play
Milwaukee likes to platoon a lot, so we'll see. Meadows maybe for Duran. I would say so if not for his injury. And we'll see.
I think it's a meaningless injury personally, but we'll see.
Jesus Sanchez because it benefits my exposure. I think Jesus Sanchez.
I love Jesus Sanchez.
Would be a top 100 pick.
Yeah, I love Jesus Sanchez.
Just because he's on the fucking Marlins.
Huge value right now.
The Marlins are bad. Shocker, I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Lugo Skeens. Okay, so I guess Lugo is a late pop-up. I guess Holmes is the cheap answer.
Yeah, that's an easy comp, I think.
Skeens,
that's what I would have said.
Skeens, I mean, top prospect, Bubba Chandler, like that's on their team, but I'll go. Damn. Job is probably the other comp because he's the top prospect, but I'm going to say rookie. Or no, wait, Festa's not a rookie technically.
Is he? Did he lose his rookie eligibility?
He lost his He definitely pitched over 50 innings. I had him last year.
Yeah.
I would say Festa, but if you want to go last round guy that could carry you, it's going to be Festa. IMO.
Yeah, my guy for this year that isn't being talked about enough that I think is going to
Oh yeah,
be
your guy.
maybe not Skeens ish, but or like as good, but he could surprise as Brandon Sprout
Yeah,
from the
we know he
Mets.
likes
Like
Sprout.
if he gets a spot in that rotation that just keeps injury after injury, if we get a couple more, Brandon Sprout, he's going to make some noise this year. So he's
I would
my guy.
agree,
He's
if
my
not for the
pick.
Jose Quintana noise.
Yeah, it depends. I think if they sign Jose Quintana, Sprout's dead. But if they don't, I think he's very, very live because that means that they trust him. He's also
Yeah,
older, so I think he makes some noise this year, personally.
I don't think that's great. I really like Sprout, but I think Quinn Matthews has a better chance to crack the rotation earlier and make a bigger impact for the
Yeah,
Cardinals.
we
If we're
we
talking
actually talked
just
about that.
pure prospect, Chandler's getting drafted, so that's not really something to talk about too much. But yeah, Quinn Matthews has some crazy numbers. Like his high A, double A numbers are out of this world. Uh, Great fastball, slider, changeup with good command. Just Cardinals used to be a pitching lab, not so much anymore. But maybe this is the guy to bring him back to glory.
Yeah,
Would you
sure.
draft
I
Quinn
like
Matthews, or are you
Matthews.
kind of off him this year?
I've drafted Quinn Matthews one time,
Okay. I
but
haven't
I don't
even,
think
but
it
like
was in the
if I had to
dinger.
pick a guy.
I don't think it was in the dinger. I've taken Sprout twice in the dinger.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, again, great stuff. A great home park for both him and Matthews, so can't really go wrong. It's just about who's actually up before like September.
Hmm.
Because if
Yeah,
they're up
I
in
mean, you just
September,
need them to matter. You need them to
yeah,
matter late. You can only take guys like that on very specific constructions,
like eight
like
pitcher teams or seven, like how many pitchers?
eight pitcher teams or six pitcher teams that are super safe.
Yeah,
Because you need innings, you don't need upside. Because pitchers just do not separate enough.
it's crazy if you look at their points per game.
Yeah,
It really is two starts that set them apart.
yeah. It's not. There's just it's so hard for guys to separate. That yeah, shooting the moon isn't exactly shooting the moon, like it is with bats. So
Yeah, where like you're just you have a dead roster spot potentially that could have been extremely valuable for like a 2 month stretch as a hitter. Whereas like as a pitcher, it's like, yeah, great, you got a good start, but then your sixth starter who nobody really wanted to draft, like the Merrill Kelly or the Barrios or whomever it may be, had a 2 start
mhm.
week and they just crushed your prospect who
Yeah,
finally came up after 4 or 5 months. So
yeah,
I get what you're saying. And yeah, it sucks because pitcher is weirdly balanced. Pitching is balanced. That's why it's fine to wait.
yep,
But yeah, something I hope you guys waited for this and you guys won't have to wait much longer for the next episode. Dan and I are really grateful for you guys tuning in to another episode of the Badge Bros. Or not Badge Bros,
yeah.
the Draft Dodgers.
Oh
Sorry.
my god,
Brain
we are
fart. But
not.
shout out to the Badge
Yeah,
Bros for hopping in, promoting this, and drafting with us. Excuse me. I meant to promo them too. But yeah, Draft Dodgers episode 2 coming to an end. We'll have another one either Sunday or prior to Sunday. Badge Bros got way more
that
handsome. Yes, Nez, thank you. Yeah, no, the Freudian slip. Just all these drafts.
that was funny.
That was very
Um,
funny. But yeah,
what
any
was I
final
gonna
words,
say?
Dan?
Yeah, so we might not be coming in on Sunday, and
Oh,
then
where are you going to
remember the
be?
next. I'm gonna be in California and Arizona,
Okay.
so
So
we'll
you'll be
see. We'll
here.
see.
So maybe a draft in person is what you're saying.
That could potentially happen. We don't.
And we hold
I'm not
hands.
going to be that far from you. I'm going to be in Whittier, so
That is
not
not
that
that
far.
far from me. I went to high school in Whittier, actually. So,
Yeah,
weirdly
we
enough,
went
for
to the
those who
same
don't
high
know,
school.
Dan and I are we're like 7 years apart
Yeah, I'm
in
I'm
age.
24.
Yeah. And I'm 17.
Yeah,
So, exactly. No.
but we
I
went
went to
to
high
high school.
school and we both went to high school, surprisingly. I know, believe it or not. And we actually went to the same one. And we didn't know until we randomly met online just talking fantasy baseball. And 2 years later, the Draft Dodgers is live. And hopefully, one of us, if not one of the drafters in this draft, which is very unlikely because we all took each other's picks, takes that 100,000 down. But yeah, like I said, sometime soon we will be drafting that next dinger. And we also will be drafting NFBC best balls, potentially cut lines, maybe an OC together. Got some fun stuff coming up. Dan and I are really excited to present more content. I know we're working on the graphics.
Yeah,
we're working on the look, but it's coming. Shout out to Brandon Anderson once more, our boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go follow him on Twitter. He's the man. White Sox fan though, so take it easy on him.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Okay, Dan, you could follow Dan J Preciado down here at where is it? Oh, where did our things go? Oh no, we lost our graphic. I had it so
it's
good.
Okay. It's
no,
all right.
I was gonna outro so good right now. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no, we're flipped. You're me and I'm you. Whatever. follow Dan at RotoSurgeon and follow Kev at Dan J Preciado.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
still figuring out how to do not Spreaker, StreamYard. I'm just getting names wrong all day.
Yeah, and we are not the Badge Bros.
We are not, but we do appreciate them and we do love watching them. So
yes.
I'm Dan. That's Kev. Have a great night. Stay safe and keep trafficking those dingers.